Hello my friends, how you doing? I'm Lindy. This is my booktube channel, Lindy's Magpie Reads, and I'm here to talk about books. It's Tuesday, so I'm going to do a tag. This is the first tag that I've done all year, and when I looked at last year's videos as I was scrolling through, I only did one tag last year as well, and it was the mid-year freak out tag. So, not freaking out, just the questions are really good. A way to look back on my reading so far and yeah, what's good? Just a general check-in. The original tag was created by Chami of Is That Chami channel. She is no longer on YouTube, but I am going to leave a link below to her channel because her final video from a year ago is titled Why I Quit YouTube, and you might find that interesting. She's a charismatic kind of person, and she's going through some self-knowledge kind of existential stuff in that video. Now, I'm not keeping the questions exactly the same as hers, and especially the order, because she had the, what's your best book of the year first, and I'm saving that to the very end. So, hope you stick around for that. First question. What's the best sequel you've read so far this year? And there aren't very many on my list. Don't read a lot of sequels, but hands down it is Mona of the Manor by Armistead Maupin. This is number 10 in the Tales of the City series, and it has all of the fun and the multiple characters, the social issues that you find in previous books in the series, especially the early ones. It seems to really bring back the flavor of the earlier ones. It's set in 1993 during the AIDS crisis, but it's off in the country, manor house in England. Question number 2. A new release you haven't read yet but want to. So many. But I just picked up this book yesterday from Monroe's Books, Committed on Meaning and Mad Women by Susan Scanlon, because I heard Sean of Sean Breed's Books talk about this on his channel. He has a separate review of it, and it just sounds so good, right up my alley, and yeah, can't wait to read it. Number 3 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Well, British booktubers talk about books all the time that aren't released in Canada, for 6 months or more. So there are plenty of those, but I was thinking, which brand new releases of Canadian authors am I really looking forward to? And none came to mind. So I went to publishers' websites. So Book Hug is one of my favorite Canadian publishers, and I saw that Franny Britt has got a new English translation of her book coming out. It's called Sugaring Time, translated by Susan Oriou. Fanny Britt is a Quebecoise playwright. She's mostly written plays, but also books. I'm actually most familiar with her graphic novels that she's written in conjunction with the artist Isabelle Arsenault. So this one is a print novel. Sounds good, looking forward to it. But then I went to the Hey. Yes. I'm down here.
Are you live?
Oh yeah, but I'll just cut this out. But then I went to Arsenal Pulp Press forthcoming books list. I would say they are my top favorite Canadian publisher. And I got so excited when I saw that John Elizabeth Stintsey has a new book coming out. Their new book is a collection of short stories. This is their first short story collection. They've also got poetry, June Bat, and a couple of novels, including one of my top reads last year, My Volcano. So, Bad Houses is coming out in September of 2024, and it's described as a boisterous collection of surreal, darkly humorous short stories that will delight fans of George Saunders and Kelly Link. And I love both of those authors' short stories. Featuring Stintsey's own expressive ink illustrations. Yay! Bad Houses is a book that feels like it was penned by a trans Alice Munro mixed with a bubblier Franz Kafka. Enter if you dare. Well, oh, that just sounds so fantastic to me. Yeah, really, really looking forward to that. I am going to place a pre-order for it. Yes. Question number 4. What's your biggest disappointment? Well, The Librarianist by Patrick DeWitt. I expected to really enjoy this, and I ended up DNFing it. The central character, Bob Comet, is a retired librarian. He is kind, an introvert. It's a quiet kind of book. Normally I like that kind of thing, but this just wasn't doing it for me. Yeah, just didn't grab me at all. And a couple of my friends read it and loved it, and listening to them I could understand why, but I still don't feel like picking it up. I might in the future. But, okay, the strangest thing is, just this week it won the Stephen Leacock Medal for Humor, and I did not find it funny. I even asked my friends when I saw that it was shortlisted for the Leacock Medal, did you find it funny? No, neither of them found it funny. I've thought about it since, and I realized that I guess the humor comes from Bob's character, because he's sort of bumbling, the emphasis on human foibles maybe, a little bit of witty conversation with seniors in the senior center where he volunteers maybe. I don't know. Anyway, Patrick DeWitt's first novel, The Sisters Brothers, also won a Leacock Medal back in 2012, I think it was, and I found that hilarious. Dark, very dark, but hilarious. Well. I actually have a runner-up for biggest disappointment, and that is this library copy of Bite by Bite by Amy Nezukuramato. I thought I would love it. It is a series of really short, kind of poetic essays about food. There's mint, there's illustrations in for each one. Lychee. The pictures are nice, but I don't know, it just seems kind of slapped together in a way. There's fascinating trivia and reminiscences about Amy's children and her husband and her childhood. There's geographical facts, like all these things might be mashed up into one paragraph. So it just doesn't seem teased out in the graceful way that her first book that I did really like, which I can't think of the title. Anyway, This one also I find maybe a little saccharine for my taste and a bit clunky. I'm almost halfway through, and I've decided I'm not even going to finish it. I'll just take it back to the library. But the sections that I flagged are all examples of why I don't like the writing. So it's interesting enough, but I guess I'm just not in the mood for it right now. So I'm disappointed. Question number 5. What was your biggest surprise? Well, biggest book and the biggest surprise. Vikram Seth's A Suitable Boy. Why was it a surprise? I expected it was going to be a slog. It's 1,395 pages, and even though I expected it to be good, I also expected that there were parts where it was going to drag, or I don't know, that part of the experience of reading it was going to be, yes, I've done it. I did not expect to keep being delighted and enchanted by it. Yeah, it kept drawing me in. It's really, really that good. So, a surprise. Another book that was a surprise is Daughter by Claudia Day. And the reason this one is a surprise is because of the description. So I knew that it was a book about a daughter's relationship with her father. Family relationships, family secrets. And I just felt kind of meh about that. But I was able to get it through Libby, the audiobook, and I listened to it, and I was surprised how much I was drawn in by these characters. Yes, there's a woman who is a filmmaker, an actor, I think she's a playwright, and her father is a famous author. So yes, there's a relationship between them, but also between her and her stepmother, her father and her mother, after the divorce, her relationship with her stepsisters, the other siblings, all of that just really drew me in. It was one of those books that once I started listening, I didn't want to switch to anything else. And yeah, even the cover, I thought, doesn't really give a hint of the pleasure that's contained in this novel. So a happy surprise. Number 6, favorite new author. This could be a debut author or somebody who's new to you. So for this, I chose Marissa Crane and her debut speculative fiction, I Keep My Exoskeletons to Myself. This recently won the Lambda Literary Award for speculative fiction. I learned that they have a second novel coming out in 2025. It's called A Sharp, Endless Need, and I am definitely excited about reading that one. Now I have a couple of honorable mentions, 2 authors that are new to me, and I heard about them through other booktubers. So I was doing this project. I'm actually still ongoing, although it's really slowed down. The project is that I watched a whole bunch of booktubers' best books of 2023 videos, and I've been slowly working my way through, and I was particularly paying attention to authors that they mentioned, books that they mentioned that I hadn't heard of before. So 2 new discoveries, new to me favorites are Samantha Harvey for her book Orbital, and I heard about that on Anne Novella's channel and also Bibliosophie. And the other author is Guadalupe Natel, and I heard about her on Bibliosophie again, and also Bob the Booker's channel. So with Guadalupe Natel, the book that I read was Stillborn. She has other books that I can explore. If you have a recommendation for me of which one I should read next, please let me know. And the same holds true for Samantha Harvey. Where do I go next with her books? Question number 7. Who is your newest favorite character? It's gotta be Sashi from Brotherless Night by V.V. Ganeshanathan. Oh, Sashi. Oh, she's 16 when we meet her, living in the north of Sri Lanka. It's the 1980s, the start of the civil war there. She's in a Tamil family with a bunch of brothers, and she is determined to be a doctor. Her perseverance, her integrity, her kindness, she's just a fantastic character, and I am so glad that this book won 2 big awards, the Women's Prize for Fiction and the Carol Shields Prize. Well deserved. I have got a runner-up favorite character. This one is more memorable, shall we say, for her larger-than-life personality, and I am talking about Anita de Monte Laughs Last by Xochitl Gonzalez. And yeah, her voices is one of the narrative threads in the novel, and we hear from her from beyond the grave, having her last laugh. She lives big, dies big. She's a big personality. Question number 8. What is the saddest book that you've read this year? And I read a lot of sad books. The one that comes to mind is Riambel by Priya Hine. This is another one that I heard about through Booktube. It was on the best list from Bob the Bookerer and also Ben Reads Good. In Riambel, we have a 15-year-old Noemi who has a growing awareness of the injustice around her in Mauritius. Yeah. There are other voices as well. It's one of those polyphonous stories, but yeah, she's the main thread through the book. It's sad, and it's really, really good. Question number 9. What is a book that made you happy? Now, Frida wants to make me happy here. What's a book that made you happy? Definitely Simon Sort of Says by Erin Bow. This is a middle grade novel. I recommend it to everyone. So funny. There's a tragedy at the heart of it, but such a feel-good situation and come together at the end. Yeah, made me happy. Question number 10. What is your favorite book to film adaptation? If you're a regular viewer on my channel, you know that I hardly ever watch movies, but after I read A Jest of God by Margaret Lawrence, it was just a Canadian classic, came out in 1966. I did a buddy read of this with Marilyn Maya Mendoza earlier this year, and then immediately after I watched the movie that was made of it. It was produced and directed by Paul Newman. They changed the title to Rachel, Rachel, and it starred Joanne Woodward and Estelle Parsons. And yeah, came out in 1968. Was able to find it online, and I really enjoyed it. It was a good pairing with the book. Now, I'm hoping that the same thing is going to happen with The Diviners. I am currently buddy reading Margaret Lawrence's The Diviners with Marilyn Maya Mendoza again, and Sarah Wallace of Roadworthy. And there's a movie, so I'm going to watch afterwards. What is your favorite video that you've created so far this year? So I scrolled through. I saw that I made 34 videos so far this year, which works out to about 3 videos every 2 weeks. And I feel proud of myself that I managed to get out at least one a week. Takes a lot of motivation, takes a lot of time for me. Almost all of those videos are recent reads or Friday reads, and I've taken to doing my Friday reads on Thursdays because it pretty much takes the entire day between doing up the notes that goes in the description box and the filming, the editing, then uploading, you know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so by Friday it's ready to get out to you. And thank you so much, those of you who subscribe and comment every week when I post those Friday Reads videos or recent reads videos. It's not only for the feeling of accomplishment, but I also really enjoy the feedback that I get from people watching those videos, and they're also a record for me of the reading that I do, because I read so much, pretty much a book a day. It just helps me to be a little more introspective about my reading. Okay, so that wasn't the question. The question is, what is your favorite video? So there aren't too many that aren't of that type. I would have to say my very favorite is the one that I did with Marilyn Maya Mendoza when she was here in Victoria for a few days visit with her daughter. We had a great time. I really enjoyed making a video with her, and I will link that down below. I have 2 honorable mentions. One of them is a vlog that I did for the Trans Day of Visibility, where for the entire day all I did was read books by trans authors, and I'll link that one below too. And my best of 2023, I'm pretty happy with that one as well. Question number 12. What is the most beautiful book you have acquired this year? I think it's this one, Curiosities by Anne Fleming. It is set in the 18th century. Well, one of the timelines is then, one is present day. But that beautiful, beautiful cover, which is an 18th century painting. And there's the whole look of the dust jacket, the tulip on the back. Yeah, gorgeous. And the book is great too. Question number 13. What book have you learned the most from? I read a lot of nonfiction. Storygraph makes it really easy to keep track of that sort of stats. And so at this point in the year, I've read 39% nonfiction, I think, and the rest fiction. Not to say that we only learn things from nonfiction. We can learn a lot, especially about emotions and relationships from fiction. But for the sake of this question, I have chosen a work of nonfiction called Light Eaters, How the Unseen World of Plant Intelligence Offers a New Understanding of Life on Earth. And it's by the American journalist Zoe Schlanger. I am telling everybody about this book. Loved it so much, learned so much, and I am planning to read another book about plant intelligence that's been on my TBR, Plant Sapiens, because I feel like I just can't get enough. Question number 14. So this is the second last question. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Need to read. It's maybe the wrong way to put it, but I, of course, will keep reading the books from my 3 book clubs that I belong to. All 3 of them meet online. So I will tell you about the ones that are coming up for July. Blue Rune by Harry Kunzru, and Saints of the Household by Ari Tyson. She is Bri, by the way, a poet as well as a storyteller. And This Arab is Queer. It's an anthology by LGBTQ plus writers. And I've got to read this week, Blue Postcards by Douglas Bruton, because I'm doing a pseudo buddy read with Sean of Sean Breathes Books, and we are going to be talking about this next week. So, Blue Postcards, must read. All right, last question. Question number 15. What is the best book you have read so far this year? It's a tie. It's a tie. A Suitable Boy is definitely up there. A best book is one that I am going to keep thinking about. Definitely going to keep thinking about A Suitable Boy. The tie is with James by Percival Everett. I just thought that book was perfect. It's perfect. So many other people are praising it as well, so I feel like this is not very original, Lindy, but what can I say? It's that good. Yeah. And it's quite different from those of his earlier works that I've read, which are far darker and more satirical. Yeah, this one has more love and hope for humanity, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, that's my mid-year freakout. Thank you so very much for watching. If you've read any of these, or if you want to tell me about your books from these categories, please use the comments down below to do that. I always appreciate hearing from you. So happy reading, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.